Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live once again on the Sports Key to Wrestling YouTube channel and social media for another edition of Smack Talk. I am not joined by my usual co-host, the ultra talented, always full of rants, Rick Ucchino. He is out sick, so we wish him well, and we hope that he is following along with us. But we are joined this time by host and producer of Lost in the Mid-Card Pro Wrestling Podcast, contributor for Sports Key to Wrestling, Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for joining us on Smack Talk this week.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Glad to have the opportunity, and hopefully Rick can feel well soon. Sounds like he's had a rough day, so hopefully SmackDown tonight put him in a little better mood, because I think it was a good show.
Yes, we finally feel like we are on the road to WrestleMania, coming out of WWE Fastlane, and we now know what is going to be the main event for night 2 of WrestleMania. But you know what Smack Talk is all about, everyone watching. It is about you guys. So please put your comments in the live chat on YouTube, or in the comments section on Facebook or Twitter, wherever you are watching. Drop us a like. Share this with all your friends. Tag one of your friends in the comments on Facebook. It helps the engagement, and it helps more people catch Smack Talk and get this analysis on WWE SmackDown this week. The fallout from Fastlane, and now the picture to WrestleMania is clearer. But we got to talk about the main event and everything going on, because it was the real story of this episode of SmackDown, Jeremy. So basically, we had the whole thing go down with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns coming out of Fastlane. We started off the show with Daniel Bryan coming down to the ring with a steel chair in hand, and he cut a brilliant promo, Jeremy, talking about making Roman Reigns tap out, talking about wanting a rematch for Roman Reigns tonight. Of all, he said he wasn't leaving the ring. He sat down in the steel chair that he came down to the ring with, a symbolism of Edge using that steel chair on him back at Fastlane, and he sat down there and said he wasn't going to leave until he got a shot at Roman Reigns once again. What was your thoughts on Daniel Bryan's promo to kick off the show?
Well, it was a tremendous promo, no doubt about it. Bryan made all the right points. And, for a minute there, when they got back from commercial and he was still sitting there, and normally they'll kick right into somebody coming out or something. No, he sat there for a little while. So I thought we were going to get 2 hours of Daniel Bryan sitting in the ring. You're just going to have matches around him. But the promo was good. I thought it was kind of interesting, because in this feud, all three guys have kind of been acting heelish. We've all seen them as baby faces before, but what's interesting is there's been heel tendencies for all three guys in this whole feud. And Bryan kind of comes off trying to be selfish, but he also makes some good points. Edge, we're getting the old rated R superstar back, and of course Roman is Roman. So it's really been an interesting dynamic.
Yes, it has. We got a question here on YouTube. Mr. Jacko says, "Do you take calls?" No, but our form of calls is comments, just like you made here. So that is your way of giving your thoughts on SmackDown this week. We got Philip in the comments on Facebook saying hi to me. Hi to you, Philip. Thanks for joining us. We got Ozzy. He says, "Poor Roman and Edge." As for poor Roman and Edge have to be forced into a situation they didn't want to be in. We got Ryan saying Edge company snapped at the end of the show. Yes, and Edge came out at the beginning of the show and kind of like snapped at Daniel Bryan, basically telling Daniel Bryan that this has nothing to do with him, and that Daniel Bryan keeps talking about how this WrestleMania may be his last, and Edge says every match may be my last. So that was a great comeback comeback to what Daniel Bryan has been saying. He says that he brings up that this year's WrestleMania comes 10 years to the date of his last WrestleMania before his retirement. He says that he won the Royal Rumble while Bryan lost twice to Roman. And this led to a whole big brawl between the two men, Edge giving Bryan a spear and then hitting him with the steel chair. This followed a little back and forth between Adam Pearce and Daniel Bryan, where Bryan suggested that we have Roman versus Edge, and then Bryan gets the shot immediately after, just like what happened to him at Elimination Chamber. And then he suggested Roman versus Edge on night 1 of WrestleMania, and then Bryan gets the winner on night 2. What did you think about Edge's response to Daniel Bryan's opening promo?
I thought it was real interesting because obviously he makes some good points, even though he's going about it as a heel way. He makes some good points. He earned his way into that main event spot at WrestleMania, and he makes some good points that Daniel Bryan's trying to repeat 2014 again and weasel his way in, even though he's not really weaseling his way in. But I can, it's kind of weird though. You understand Edge and Roman's points to it, even though they're heels and we're supposed to hate Roman for sure. Edge is kind of in between. They're actually making logical points, but at the same time, so is Daniel Bryan. He used the word double standard, and it was because he had to get his championship match immediately because, of course, Roman's got pole. So Bryan made some good points there as well, that there is a double standard held against him.
Yeah, you make a great point. Like all these characters have been, you can kind of see their points, making them baby faces, but they're still acting like kind of heelish. And this was Daniel Bryan's kind of opportunity, kind of being like stomping his feet and saying, I'm not leaving until I get my title shot. I mean, his opening promo was good. It was great delivery, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm going to earn my way to WrestleMania. Give me my title shot right now or I'm not leaving. That didn't make too much sense. But I think the whole package, like you said, just made for like great television and a great way to kick off the show. And it's not too many times that WWE delivers like a full 25 minutes of the opening show, 2 promos, and it's a good thing. This was a good thing because it progressed things very nicely coming off of Fastlane. But we got much more throughout the night following this, Jeremy. We had a backstage segment with Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso, where he demanded Paul Heyman go get Adam Pearce for him, and then told Jey Uso to go with him and use force if he has to. And then when Jey asked if he was sure, Roman said, "What they're gonna do? Fire us?" It's just the brazenness of Roman Reigns is just hilarious to me. Backstage, and then later on in the night, Adam Pearce came to Roman Reigns' locker room. Roman says that Adam Pearce only gets him for 1 night of WrestleMania, and then he tries to intimidate Pearce to make his decision. Adam says that everyone will know his decision by the end of the night. We got more and more backstage segments with the different characters in this story. We had Edge approach Adam Pearce and ask him if he's going to reward Daniel Bryan for his bad behavior. Pearce said that he has to keep everything in mind to make his correct decision, and Edge then warns him that he hopes Pearce makes the right decision. So, Jeremy, I have to ask you this because a lot of people were questioning if Sunday was an official heel turn for Edge. But I think that tonight and everything that happened throughout the course of the evening and segments, just little segments like this interaction with him and Adam Pearce, Edge is definitely now a heel going into WrestleMania, don't you think?
Yeah, the old rated R superstar is back. I mean, he almost pulled off a double concerto at the end of the show if it wasn't for Pat Buck and Jamie Noble, taking the bullet and taking those chair shots. I thought he was still going to deliver the concertos, but everybody got out of it. I think the go home show might have a concerto, maybe. I don't know. If not, maybe at WrestleMania, but I think we're going to see a concerto in the next couple of weeks. But clearly, a lot of people were questioning Fastlane. Is this truly a heel turn for Edge? We don't know because, he hit both guys, and but they made it clear that the old rated R superstar is back tonight.
Yeah, they definitely made it clear. Like I said, this segment, we're going to get into the final segment. We do have a couple of comments that I want to get to. I want to get into more comments because I know Rick always likes to get to your comments.
Hello, Jose, by the way. I saw Jose in the chat.
Yes, I see Jose. We got Jose over here. Let me see. I think I just passed. There we go. What's going on, guys? Jose Gonzalez of the Debrief and all his great content on the Sports Keto Wrestling YouTube channel, saying have a great show. We got a bunch of love for Great Khali, and then our own Reju saying we need Sid to do his best Great Khali impression. I aim to please here on Smack Talk. So so there you go. That's my best Great Khali that you could get for you. But we gotta get into what else happened with the three main characters going into WrestleMania. We had another backstage segment with Adam Pearce and Daniel Bryan, with Bryan saying that he knows Pearce's position because he was general manager before. He also knows Pearce will make the right decision tonight. And then we got a backstage segment with Edge and Roman Reigns, where Edge barged into Roman Reigns' locker room. Roman held off Jey Uso, said that he respected Edge coming in like he did, and Edge implored Roman to use whatever stroke he has to make sure Daniel Bryan is not injected into the WrestleMania title match. Edge says that we saw this in 2014. He doesn't want to see it again. He is over this whole yes movement part 2. And then finally we got to the end of the night. Adam Pearce came down. He said that all three men made great points, and he announces that all three men will meet in a triple threat match for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. I do have to also note, before Edge and Daniel Bryan came down, Roman was in the ring, and they had very, very loud piped in "you tapped out" chants. They made sure that Roman got his "you tapped out" chants, even though the fans are not in attendance. We got a big brawl between the three guys to end the night, starting with Bryan attacking Edge, looking for revenge from earlier. Roman laid out Bryan with a spear, and then he gets a chair from Jey, but before he can use it, Edge delivers a spear to Roman, then another to Jey Uso. He nails his WrestleMania opponents with steel chair shots. He then positions both men, like you said, for the concerto, but Jey Uso comes in and saves his cousin. Roman escapes. Edge then looks to put Bryan in position for the concerto, but officials come down, and Edge nails all the officials with steel chairs. And similar to how we started the show, with Daniel Bryan sitting with the steel chair in the middle of the ring, we get Edge sitting in a chair to end the night. What did you think about all of this, and who do you think is going to come out on top at WrestleMania? We might not see you before WrestleMania here on Smack Talk, so we're going to get your answer here right now, Jeremy. Who do you think comes out of WrestleMania? Edge, Roman Reigns, or Daniel Bryan?
Well, I think I mentioned this on my podcast the last time we recorded here. We usually record on Tuesday nights and put her out on Wednesdays. And I said, I think Bryan is getting inserted into this match to take the pin from Edge, because Michael Cole mentioned this. I think either at Fastlane or the Go Home show of SmackDown. Roman Reigns has not been pinned since October of 2019. I think they're going to continue that streak with having Bryan take the pin from Edge at WrestleMania.
That would be interesting. That would be an interesting outcome for sure. I am one person that have been on this Edge bandwagon only because I know how WWE thinks, and I know they love their nostalgia pushes. But this is interesting, the direction that they're going in, with Edge making like a full heel turn. It feels like you said the Rated R superstar felt like he was back tonight, especially to end the show the way he did, definitely. But
I think making Edge a heel in this situation and then winning the title opens up a whole new set of doors, because of course when he came back and made his triumphant return, he was a babyface, had the big feud with Randy Orton. Now he can be the heel and open up a whole new door of things. Man, imagine a feud with Edge and Big E. Imagine a feud with Edge and Cesaro. Edge and Shinsuke Nakamura would be a dream match. Having him as a heel champion opens up a lot of doors going forward on SmackDown.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns is on fire as a character, but like you said, WWE, they love the legends coming back and coming in, but Edge is a guy that we got robbed of his last couple of years, so him coming back creates so many new matchups. And like you said, Edge as a heel, it just works. It just works.
Yeah.
He always feels more natural as at that stage. And I thought he was good as a babyface last year, but if he's more comfortable here, and especially if he's going at it with Daniel Bryan on the way to WrestleMania, it only makes sense that we get the Rated R Superstar.
Yeah, definitely.
We got a couple of comments. We got Nicholas saying Bryan shocks the world at WrestleMania again. We got Ozzy saying Daniel Bryan did make Roman tap 3 times at Fastlane. We got also Ryan saying Roman Reigns will get his hands full on both of Daniel Bryan and Edge at the greatest show at WrestleMania 37. He sounds like Michael Cole, like announcing it.
Only thing he left out was the big dog.
It's boss time. We got Philip also saying, I think Edge pins Roman at WrestleMania. Ooh. I think no matter who wins, I think Bryan's going to take the loss here. I think that it just makes more sense. I think that they didn't feel comfortable, Edge taking a loss to Roman. I don't think they want Roman to take a loss, even if he's going to lose the Universal Championship. So Daniel Bryan being inserted here makes sense on the story they've been telling for the last couple of weeks, on the outcome that they want to have at WrestleMania. It just makes a whole bunch of sense.
I see in the comments, the official Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube is got a request for you here.
I did see that as well. We got James saying, correct me if I'm wrong, ain't this the third triple threat main event in Mania history? First the one at Mania 20, then the one where Bryan won, and now this. Yep, this would be the third triple threat main event, and man, does it have a lofty legacy to live up to. WrestleMania 20, although they want to erase that from history, one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. And
classic.
We know Bryan winning at WrestleMania 30. It gets repeated on Rewind every time WrestleMania comes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are 2 iconic moments. Adding Benoit to that match, and then it just became it was an insane main event and just a great way to go home with Eddie coming into the ring, and then of course Bryan. I mean, man, my only regret was not being there in person. My co-host was there in person, and he thinks it's like one of the best moments he's ever seen live. Just the energy that the crowd gave out, knowing that the way this was going to go.
Yeah, like that's one of the best WrestleManias of all time. We can debate about that another time, but we got the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel saying, Sid, can you do a Kane impersonation next, since he's going into the Hall of Fame? All right, so I'll do my best Kane. My name is Kane, and I have 2 words for you. Suck it. There you go.
Man.
I hope I did Glenn very, very proud here.
Going way back on that one.
Well, yes, put your comments. Let us know what you're thinking about the whole Edge, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns storyline, which really, was the bulk of tonight's show. We didn't get like a wrestling match until like almost 30 minutes into the show, Jeremy. But did we get a good one to kick off the show? We got Roman's former Shield mate, Seth Rollins, in a rematch of Fastlane against Shinsuke Nakamura. Was our first match of the night. And man, these guys have developed quite the nice chemistry. This match was another good match following up from Fastlane. Nakamura looked for the win with the Kinshasa, but Seth evaded. Then Nakamura looked for a armbar. He just does it so smooth going into the armbar, and then transitioned nicely into the triangle. But Seth reversed into a power bomb, then rolled Nakamura into position for the curb stomp for the win. Post-match, Seth looked for another curb stomp, but Cesaro made his return to SmackDown looking awesome in his suit. He took down Rollins and looked for the swing until Seth retreated. And then backstage, we had an interview with Seth Rollins, Caleb Braxton interviewing Seth Rollins, where he challenged Cesaro to a match at WrestleMania. Seth also said that he will never be swung again, which of course led to Cesaro attacking him and swinging him backstage. And then he accepted Seth's challenge for WrestleMania. Jeremy, what was your thoughts on Nakamura versus Rollins, the rematch here? And then what was your thoughts on the post-match with Cesaro's return?
To me, Rollins and Nakamura was the turning point of Fastlane from being kind of bland to really kicking it into gear. It was probably my third favorite match behind Drew, Sheamus, and Roman Bryan, but it was still a tremendous match. And, you know, sometimes I shake my head that we get a rematch immediately after a pay-per-view, immediately after we pay for a match, we get a free match. But this one I did not complain about. I was fully on board with seeing these two go again. They didn't disappoint. And, you know, I was excited when they added Nakamura and Rollins to Fastlane just because it means that Cesaro and Rollins were eventually going to be official for WrestleMania, and that became official tonight. And, you know, any Ring of Honor fans out there are going to be just clamoring for the, you know, the Claudio and Tyler clash so many years later. I hope they get 20 minutes because I think between them and Sasha and Bianca, those are going to be the show stealers of WrestleMania.
Yes, we will get to another match they made for WrestleMania, which definitely will be in the conversation for that honor. But definitely, like you said, I'm an old school Ring of Honor fan myself, so this just feels like Christmas. The wrestling gods were good to us. We got a quality match. Nakamura looked good in the match as well. He looked really strong at Fastlane and in this match against Seth, even though he took the loss. You know, I'm not too happy with him taking too many losses myself, but you know, this was all about the story going on between Cesaro and Seth. And Cesaro, it's just so great to see someone, you know, who's been so underrated, been so underappreciated for years. Finally, his first singles match at WrestleMania. It will be at WrestleMania 37. Are you a Cesaro fan, and how does it feel to see him get this his big moment at WrestleMania?
I'm a gigantic Cesaro fan. Our logo, the show is called Lost in the Midcard. Our logo is Cesaro. If you saw our initial logo that we had made about 6 years ago, and it's still on our I think it's still on our Facebook page. But Cesaro is our mascot, so to speak. And so I've been a big fan of Cesaro's for a very long time. I'm a major fan of The Party. If you watch Up, Up, Down, Down, watch Uno with Austin Creed and Adam Cole and Tyler Breeze. And, of course, Cesaro makes up the four. And they are so entertaining on that show as well. So just everything that Cesaro does, I'm a big fan of. And so just to see that this is going to be WrestleMania now and not Fastlane, I got so excited for it. And I really, they're, with Bryan kind of being more behind the scenes, you're seeing Cesaro and Nakamura, Jey Uso also getting pushed, deservedly so. And I think Nakamura's time is going to come. It kind of started and then stopped a little bit while Cesaro's is taken off. But these guys that we respect for so long over across many promotions, we're finally getting to see them flourish in the WWE, and I'm just so happy for it.
They're getting huge opportunities, and they are definitely delivering when they get those opportunities. So you love to see it. Next up, we had our second match of the evening as the Intercontinental Champion Big E teamed up with the Street Profits to versus the Alpha Academy and Apollo Crews in 6-man tag team action. Hilarious entrance by E and the Profits with Montez Ford doing the Big E Snow Angels in the cups on the ramp, and then reverse crawling down the entranceway. I was just dying of laughter. You have to love the energy of Montez Ford, right?
Man, so good. I laughed. I laughed so hard at that. That was good.
Then during the entrance for Apollo and the Alphas, Michael Cole announced that after the post-match attack at Fastlane by Apollo Crews, Big E has challenged Crews to an Intercontinental Championship match on night 2 of WrestleMania. I will just say I was not a fan of the way they announced this match. This didn't make any sense. This guy, Apollo Crews, and I've been a big fan of his performance in this character. Regardless of how people think about the actual character, I've been a fan of it. Even though I have pointed out when his accents does split, it does split up a little bit. He goes
little T'Challa there.
Yeah, he's still learning. He's still learning, but he's been performing it very well, been doing very well against Big E in this feud. This feud felt like it was WrestleMania worthy, but just the way they announced it, it just felt lazy. Like if they would announce this later on in the night after this matchup, then it would have made more sense.
He's lost too many times too. The time to make that change was Fastlane, I think, not WrestleMania. But I guess with WrestleMania being so close to Fastlane, I see why they stretched it out. They just should not have had the Fastlane match or just had a non-finish.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. A non-finish where they're like brawling probably would have done better, because this guy is now 0-6 in Intercontinental Championship matches in the past 3 months.
And gets a WrestleMania title shot.
Ridiculous. So, but this was a very fun, in my opinion, very fast, fun 6-man tag team matchup.
Yeah.
The Alpha Academy hit a sick clothesline German suplex combination that turned Angelo Dawkins inside out. After an awesome Montez Ford dive, Apollo Crews tagged in and hit the Olympic Slam for the win to pin the IC champion. The Alpha Academy looked solid again. Apollo get the pin here. It was a much needed after what happened at Fastlane. I just wish they would have made the match announcement following this match, because now it makes sense. It didn't make sense to announce it before the match.
I got to give a shout out to Chad Gable for that insane Northern Lights suplex as Montez was coming over the top rope. That was a masterpiece, man.
Montez Ford, he creates highlights, but so does Chad Gable. Chad Gable is very good at the wrestling. I got to get to a couple of more of your comments here. We got Ozzy saying Jimmy will show up at WrestleMania to help Roman for the win. We got James in the comments saying, I have a feeling Mysterio is retiring soon. I don't know he gets the win too. If he, which is rare, is this Mania his last? I hope not. That's been like a lot of people been talking about that. Like a lot of people, this is their last WrestleMania. It seems like pretty much every other person on SmackDown is saying that about themselves. We got Philip saying, Jeremy, you are a cool dude. Yes,
thanks.
You are. I agree.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I approve this message. And then we got Eric on YouTube saying, hey, SP3 and Jeremy, Nakamura versus Seth was a nice match and have good chemistry, and can't wait for Cesaro versus Seth. They should get 20-minute match. He agrees with you, Jeremy, for sure. So some great comments. Keep them coming in. We want to hear your thoughts on everything that happened on SmackDown this week. But we got to get to what was my favorite segment of the night, Jeremy. And I am talking about the best friends in the world. And I'm not talking about Chuck and Trent. I'm talking about Sami and Kevin. Yes, we had a recap of Sami and Zayn's attack on Kevin Owens last week. We then saw both men heading to the ring. Following the break, Kevin Owens was in the ring for the KO show. He asked Sami to come down to the ring because he has to ask him a question after what happened last week. Zayn comes out and he says that he is sorry for what he did. He is sorry. He didn't mean it. He keeps cutting off Owens before he can ask the question to announce that next week he will be having his special red carpet trailer for his documentary about the conspiracy against him. And I hope there is a guy, I think his name is Brett Thomas. Brett Thomas has been on multiple different YouTube shows that I do asking me this question. And Brett Thomas, it is happening. Logan Paul is going to be on SmackDown next week. He is in to Sami Zayn's documentary, and he will be a special guest of honor for the red carpet trailer for his documentary. We even got a graphic to make it official, Jeremy. Kevin Owens then said that he doesn't care about all of that, which really upset Zayn. He interrupted and said that he owed him an apology for not caring about the conspiracy and his documentary. KO then asks his question of a challenge for a one-on-one matchup at WrestleMania, yes or no. KO intimidated Zayn for a couple of seconds after that into accepting his challenge. And then he said that the only reason he didn't beat him senseless was that he needed an answer to his question. And with that answer, he started to beat him senseless, ending with a KO stunner. This was such a fun, highly entertaining segment. Sami Zayn is just fantastic as this annoying, overbearing heel that just gets under your skin, got under KO's skin here, and it sets up another dream ROH match at WrestleMania. Man, WrestleMania has a former Impact Wrestling pay-per-view main event. It has 2 ROH Dream Match classics. Like, this is like hardcore wrestling fan heaven in a lot of ways on this WrestleMania. But what was your thoughts on the KO show, Jeremy?
Well, I was so excited I had to put on the t-shirt. One of many. Which one is this one? This was 4, so this is last year's shirt. I'm looking forward to buying the 5th one when it comes out on WWE Shop. I was excited that this was probably gonna go this way, but I mean, I don't think we're the only ones excited. I think the 2 guys that are going to compete in the ring are realizing a dream that these best friends are going to have a match at WrestleMania, and I wonder if a pirate ship's going to be involved.
KO wanted to jump off that that pirate ship last year. Will he get his opportunity this year? Oh, I would love to see it. But Jeremy, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Shane McMahon is also on the card.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
There you go. We got a couple of more comments here. We got Randy Sam saying, hey, SP3 and Jeremy, I agreed Cruz versus Big E announcement was lazy, but is the first time ever we got an IC match with no 6-man or 8-man tag. That is true. I think this is the first IC singles match in quite some time.
Yeah.
I think since Miz and Wade Barrett got on the pre-show of WrestleMania 29, which is crazy.
So many people were wanting, like, I saw comments on Twitter from WWE's account that so many people were wanting this to be a multi-man match and are not excited that this is a guy that's lost so many times is going to get a WrestleMania match one-on-one with Big E. But maybe they save that multi-man match for the U.S. title. Probably not now because, I think Sheamus and Riddle is pretty much penciled in. And I almost think it's going to be, just go to Raw real quick. I think it's going to be a reward for Sheamus for having such a good year with so many good matches. But then going back to the multi-man thing, it's interesting. I think a lot of people love the multi-man match with ladders. I mean, that tremendous moment when Zack Ryder won it in Dallas a few years ago is one of the greater moments in the Intercontinental history for WrestleMania. So people want to see it. But Big E and Apollo are going to bring it. It has been a good feud. It's just the way Fastlane went down kind of sours the excitement for the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, if Fastlane would have done something to keep you invested in the rivalry without the convoluted finish, I think that we would be more excited about this match announcement. But I think that they have some work to do to kind of recover what the fans think about this feud after Fastlane. So we also got Jeff on YouTube saying Sami versus Owens at WrestleMania going to be fire. But SP3, I'm excited about this. Logan Paul on SmackDown and why Owens going to pop up powerbomb Logan through the stage. I would love to
MGK.
Exactly. Make him his new MGK. Why not?
I think he's eating a stunner. I think he's going to eat a stunner. I think that's going to be a thing. Now, about the Sami thing, is this Sami documentary going to be on the WWE Network? I wonder.
It needs to be, but I don't know if it will go by the Peacock editors. I don't know. It might have some stuff that is triggering, and they want to edit it out. Who knows? We got Jeff saying, I love Sami Zayn character in this role. I never thought he could be a good, annoying heel. Yeah, I mean, Sami Zayn was the best babyface in all of professional wrestling back in like 2014, 2015. And to see him 6 years later be this good as a heel is quite amazing. And it shows his talent that he can be great and one of the best on either side of the spectrum.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of playing an insane guy, especially tonight. He really took the insanity over the top, and I loved it.
Absolutely. So we had more stuff to get into. We had a recap of the women's tag team titles match at Fastlane. Kayla Braxton then interviewed the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble winner Bianca Belair backstage, who said that she saw all the Twitter feedback from Sasha slapping her on Sunday at Fastlane, and she said she didn't retaliate because she wants to take care of business when it matters. She had a great line saying, "I was the bigger person, so I can be the better person at WrestleMania." Belair says that she will prove the rookie will beat Sasha for the title at WrestleMania, and that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay. She says that she has unfinished business with Natalya and to put the children to bed because they shouldn't see what she's going to do. This was a good promo. I mean, the Mary Had a Little Lamb line, I don't know where that came from, but I like the confidence from Bianca Belair here.
Yeah, I mean, at least it wasn't suffer and succotash, but it wasn't that great either. But I like it. I think this WrestleMania is going to be Bianca's crowning moment. She is talented enough to have that WrestleMania moment, and I think her time is going to be this year.
We shall see. It's being promoted as one of the big matches for definitely night one of WrestleMania.
I think it might main event night one.
What are your thoughts on the big feedback from the fans saying that Sasha and Bianca should main event WrestleMania? What's been your thoughts on the feud? Is it worthy of main eventing WrestleMania? And where do you?
Well, I think it's going to be, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be one of the two show stealers of WrestleMania. And they even mentioned it on the mic. It's main eventing WrestleMania. So I have a real good feeling that this is going to be your night one main event. And I think it's deservedly so, because I think these ladies are going to tear the house down and leave us with something to talk about as we look forward to Sunday.
So you've been enjoying the feud so far?
No, not really.
Okay,
but I that aside, I have no doubts that they're going to steal the show at Mania. The build up, and I mean, they're really overexposing Reginald. And though I like Reginald as a character and he does some cool things, he was just being overexposed and did not belong in this feud. And the feud itself, the writing it's been kind of iffy, but I think once we got to Fastlane and the slap, I think we got two more SmackDowns before WrestleMania. We got time to really make it make that U-turn to make it an exciting build to go to and they took a good step this week. And like I said, they got two more SmackDowns before Mania, so they do have some time to right that ship. But I have no doubt the performance at Mania is going to be on fire.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that Sasha said it was main eventing. I don't know if they made the announcement that is officially the main event. I just heard Sasha say it, which she's been saying a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was glad that she brought that here. She was on commentary. She came down towards the beginning of this matchup, caused a distraction for Belair where Natalya got control. Sasha was very cocky on commentary here, which a lot of people were confused. It was like an edge thing with Sasha as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't think this was a heel turn for Sasha, or she was just leaning more heel, but it really felt like we got the NXT boss back, especially when she was bragging on the commentary and kind of talking down to Michael Cole in her way. We had a little bit of mistiming with Bianca and Natalya on Bianca's handspring moonsault, but this was a well-worked match between the two ladies. But it honestly was more about Sasha on commentary and her interaction with Bianca. Bianca went to the floor right in front of Sasha on commentary, where Banks talks trash to Bianca, which caused Bianca to come back with a slap where she put some stank on it, Jeremy. Oh, man. My God.
Got the receipt, and you see that ring popping up in the air? That was pretty cool. I don't think it was intentional, but that was pretty cool seeing one of the old boss rings just fly up in the air after she got slapped.
Ring. It looked like you was beating up someone in Sonic, and the ring just popped out, and you had to go grab it to get your point. Like, I was like, damn. Belair then got back in the ring. She hit the KOD on Natalya to get the victory. Like I said, it was an okay match. More about the interaction between Sasha and Bianca. I will agree with Jeremy. The interactions between them, it felt more about them tonight. Like, it hasn't been that way since Royal Rumble, since this whole feud started. But tonight finally felt like even Natalya and, Tamina being involved, they were just side characters to the real feud going on between Bianca and Sasha. It felt more focused tonight.
Yeah, it did. And, at least we got Natalya getting her Brody Lee tribute in there with the lariat. Love that. And it was a pretty solid match. I was kind of happy that they paired these two together. It looks like they're kind of pushing Tamina and Natty. They got some wins going on there. So it was kind of odd that they kind of stopped that. I think we're probably heading to a multi-woman cross-brand tag team title match at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be, would be cool. Let's get the champs. Let's get two teams from Raw and SmackDown. Let's put a ladder in there. Let's make that the multi-person match, and let's get a 5-team tag team ladder match for the women's tag team titles. Let's book it. Let's book it right now.
I mean, that sounds fun, but it also sounds scary. As someone getting hurt, especially with Nia Jax being in there. I'm sorry, someone gonna get hurt, Jeremy. That's a good idea, but I don't like to see people get hurt in the ring.
Yeah, I think it can be done and done well. I mean, they'll tease Nia climbing the ladder, but she'll never get up there. They'll beat her down and they'll tease it, and But hey, I think it'd be interesting.
As long as Nia's got the Big Show ladder, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
We get the rundown for both nights of WrestleMania that make official that Rollins versus Cesaro will be on night 1 of WrestleMania, along with Braun versus Shane, New Day versus Styles and Omos, Bad Bunny, the real draw of WrestleMania, might I add, versus The Miz, McIntyre versus Lashley, Sasha versus Bianca, and then night 2 is going to have Big E versus Apollo, Zayn versus Owens, Orton versus Fiend, Ripley versus Asuka, and what was Reigns versus Edge is now Reigns versus Edge versus Bryan. And then finally, we had our last match of the night. I guess you would call it the main event of the evening, but we know the outcome of the decision of Adam Pearce was the real main event. But the main event match was Dolph Ziggler going one-on-one with Rey Mysterio. Before the match started off, we got an inset promo with the Mysterio family saying Rey talking, saying the biggest accomplishment he could achieve in his career is win the tag team titles with his son. Dominic rocking a nice, dope Eddie Guerrero shirt tonight.
Oh yeah,
had to shout that out.
I think we're foreshadowing a WrestleMania moment with father and son. I think I am very confident they're going to win the tag team titles at Mania.
It definitely looks like we're heading to a multi-team thing for the SmackDown tag team titles.
It felt like that, but then they kind of separated out Otis and Gable and the Street Profits. They kind of separated them out. So now I'm wondering. I think this might be just Mysterios and the Dirty Dogs now, because they didn't really include those guys. They kind of put them in that 6-man.
I think the only reason they did that is because they did too much last week with the 2 back-to-back matches. Like they did 2 weeks of build in 1 week in like a 10-minute segment. So I think that they separated them to kind of let both feuds kind of breathe, because really the Mysterios are feuding with the Alpha Academy while the Dirty Dogs are feuding with the Street Profits.
That's a good point.
I think they just wanted to mix things up there, and this was a good match. You had probably the two of the best workers, or the most tenured workers in this whole SmackDown tag team title scene, with Dolph Ziggler and Rey Mysterio going at it. Great spot before the commercial break where Dolph caught Rey on a dive and power bombed him into the concrete behind the barricade. It was such a great visual, wasn't it?
And then that super kick on Dominic was good too, man. Just bam, just nailed him with it.
Right in the side of the head. Awesome stuff. We got back from the break. Ziggler continued to dominate. He hit a zigzag for a knee. fall, but only got the 2 count, started talking trash, saying that's not the finish to the referee. Ray then countered a power bomb, hit a 619, and then a splash for the pin and the win. This was fine, but I just felt like it went a little long. I don't know about you. It just felt a little bit long, especially after the break, but fine action between these 2 guys. Like I said, 2 of the best veterans on the SmackDown roster here going at it.
Yeah, I think they probably realized we do need to kill some time. Normally, sometimes they're overtime and they got to speed things up and go home quickly. But I think they realized this last segment with the Universal title picture is not going to be that long of a segment. So they probably needed to stretch it out. But man, that zigzag off the ropes, another great move off the ropes. We had it earlier with Gable hitting the Northern Lights. This zigzag off the ropes by Ziggler onto Ray was another masterful move. In what was a lot of good wrestling tonight.
Yeah, we got, for the short amount of matches, or like the matches that they got in, we only got 4 matches on the night. All of them were well worked. None of them were bad matches. And, you know, my favorite of the matches was definitely Rollins versus Nakamura, but definitely we had good action throughout the night. A fun 6-man tag. The ladies got in there, and then Dolph and Ray to end the night. Good stuff all around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it was a good night.
So we got a couple of more comments we can get to. I think this is the earliest. Me and Rick, Jeremy, we usually rant and complain about stuff, but we had a good episode tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't much to complain about.
I was able to get through most of the stuff, so we can get to more comments. We got
exactly
Benjamin on Facebook saying, what match are you looking forward to at WrestleMania, Jeremy?
I said it before. I've been saying it for probably a month now since the build started. It's Cesaro and Seth Rollins. That is the number one thing I am looking forward to at WrestleMania. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Bobby and Drew because I'm excited for that. You know, I'm obviously excited about the Universal title picture as well. But for me, the number one thing I'm looking forward to is Cesaro and Seth Rollins.
That's definitely up there for me. Sasha and Bianca is definitely up there for me. This triple threat match, definitely the best story going on before WrestleMania is the triple threat for the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
So those are ones, but my number one is definitely Zayn versus Owens. Zayn Owens. That's what's close to my heart. I saw them in Ring of Honor, seen them in NXT. To finally see them hit the highest stage possible, WrestleMania, it's just sweet to be.
Yeah, I think the bill just hasn't been there for that, though. I know just for sentimental reasons, I'm very excited for it. But I think the bill just hasn't been there because they didn't get to this really started until a couple of weeks ago. But I agree that's gonna be tremendous, and it's gonna be a great moment for those guys too, man. Best friends gonna be on the biggest stage, get to fight each other on the biggest stage, and that's why they started wrestling so long ago, is to reach that point.
Absolutely. We got Robert on Facebook saying a triple threat match for the Universal title. I saw that one coming a mile away. Altogether now, yeah. Lazy booking. I don't think it was lazy booking. I think we all saw it coming because it was the right decision to make. Like Daniel Bryan, me and Rick was talking about for the last couple of weeks, Daniel Bryan has been the best character involved in this whole story. And that says a lot because Edge was delivering some of the best promos in all of the WWE last year. And even his great promo before the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, has been the MVP of the Thunderdome era in WWE. But Daniel Bryan in this feud, he's been the most likable. He's been the glue. He's been the real story going on. So it only makes sense that we got to this point.
Yeah, it was just I did not enjoy the finish of Fastlane, so to speak, especially after the I think it was like a 30-minute masterpiece that Reigns and Bryan put on. I thought it was not the best finish. Honestly, my hope, my like pipe dream was that after Edge took out both guys with chairs, he would put Bryan on top of Reigns and eliminate Roman from the equation somehow. You know, it was kind of a wild pipe dream because part of me thought, well, maybe they can get Goldberg in to feud with Roman and have him out of the title picture, and then you have a one-on-one match with two guys who we thought careers were over and made miraculous comebacks. I thought that one-on-one story would have been tremendous to have those two. It was a pipe dream, but instead we got kind of an awkward finish at Fastlane, which led to the obvious triple threat. Well, I don't think it would be lazy, and some people will say it'll repeat 2014, but that's a whole different story. 2014 was Daniel Bryan trying to rise up against the authority, which was the birth of the Yes movement, and that was a whole saga in itself. This is completely different, and so I don't think it's lazy, because I think they've put the pieces together in a unique way to form this triple threat match. I just wasn't excited with the end of Fastlane.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from there. I think to me the finish made sense for where they were going.
Yeah.
But I can understand the people that were disappointed by the way it happened, especially after what was an incredible main event between Bryan and Roman. We got Jason Michael on YouTube saying, "Sup, SP3 and Jeremy, not to be overboard, but we get Big E versus Cruz and Bianca versus Sasha, two African-American in a Mania match for a title in a one-on-one. And I'm happy about this too. I am happy about it as well. I love the diversity. And when you look up and down the card for WrestleMania, there's so much diversity of the WWE roster. It's such a great thing to see.
And let's not forget, on a different show, Bobby Lashley is your champion, and I think you can count them on one hand how many African American WWE champions there have been. So that's another tremendous thing for diversity as well. I think a lot of people are expecting Drew to take the title back so he can get his WrestleMania pop he didn't get last year, but who knows? Lashley has been on fire, much like Sheamus for the past year, so he may walk out, and that would be a tremendous moment for a guy like Lashley to retain at WrestleMania as well.
I'm one that doesn't feel like we were talking about earlier. Banks and Belair's feud is right for the main event of WrestleMania. But one of the main reasons I want them to main event WrestleMania is that if Lashley main events WrestleMania, Drew's taking back that title.
Yeah,
like that's why I rather them have it earlier on in the show, so there's a chance Lashley can come out and successfully defend the title. But if they're in the main event spot, we know Drew is taking back the title.
Yeah, I think it feels obvious, but I feel like there is wiggle room for Vince to change his mind as well, because the Hurt Business has been one of the best factions WWE has had in a long time. They have done a tremendous job booking those guys, getting Cedric Alexander relevant again, bringing Shelton Benjamin back into the spotlight, because he can still go. They just needed a place for him. And MVP is MVP. I mean, he's working hurt right now, so much respect to him. But so it's good to see Lashley as WWE champion. Maybe we get a surprise there. Who knows?
We might, but I'm sorry. The way that Vince books Drew McIntyre, that's his new scene. That's his new scene.
Yeah, I think it's obvious what's going to happen, but I think there's some wiggle room where he can keep Lashley as champion. But you're right. I think they're giving Drew the WrestleMania pop he didn't get last year.
We got Everett Travis on YouTube saying, "First ever woman tag team title ladder match. I like it, Jeremy. I like your thinking, but I don't want them to help Nia going to be a beast in the ladder match."
Yeah.
I think that is a great idea that you came up with, Jeremy. It gives a lot of women an opportunity. And Eric Travis actually came up with the women. Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina versus Shayna and Nia and Lana and Naomi. Book it. And a special return of the Bella Twins. Yeah.
I would rather have a special return of the Iconics instead. But we all know the Bellas are coming back. We all know Vince is going to put the titles on them. We all know that's coming soon.
Money. It's all about the money. Come on, man.
Hey, you gotta sell those ratings for Total Bellas, man.
Exactly. Jeff Samuel on YouTube saying, "Hell, why not announce next Friday Street Profits versus Otis and Gable for night 1, and winner face Ray and Dominic and Ziggler and Rude at Mania night 2 in a triple threat ladder match at Mania." You like it? No, I just rather them do a fatal 4-way, to be honest.
Yeah.
That seems convoluted. It seems no offense, Jeff. I like the creativity, but it seems like you're William Regal deciding what to do with the North American Championship.
I think
12-man battle royal into a 6-man eliminator into that versus Johnny Gargano.
Oh man. I think I as long I'm always a fan of the tag team triple threat or fatal four way if everybody from that one team is in. I don't like the WWE rule where a whole team is on the apron. So if they do it, I want to, and sometimes they have reverted to the way that I like better, where all three competitors all three teams have a competitor in the ring, or if we do a four way, all four competitors are in there. So if they do that at Mania with a fatal four way, I hope they do it with somebody from each team in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, that would be the fun way to do it. Two people in the ring. It doesn't explore the creativity of the performers like that would. So I definitely agree with you there. So thank you, Jeremy. You added a lot. You had some great fantasy booking, some great analysis, and some great responses and feedback from tonight's WWE SmackDown. So thank you so much for joining us on Smack Talk. Please tell the people watching where they can find you on social media and everything else going on, Lost in the Mid-Card podcast and everything else you're doing, sir.
Yeah, I'm on the Twitter at JB Huskers. And so you can find me there. Our podcast, Lost in the Midcard, it hits any of your podcasting apps and Spotify and iTunes, usually on a Wednesday afternoon, so you can catch it before you catch Dynamite NXT. You can go, links are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard, as well as Twitter. It is LITMC Podcast, and we have the links to those. We also do a video version of the podcast as well on our YouTube, so the YouTube link is on those as well. Definitely give Matt and I a listen sometime if you've got the time. Would appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I had a blast, and glad to get the opportunity here.
Of course, we will surely see you back on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for sure. Thank you so much for joining us on Smack Talk, Jeremy. You can find me on Twitter at TrueHeelSP3. You can also find me, it's WrestleMania season, so I point to the sign at the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, daily wrestling content over there. You can see me on True Hill Heat 118 along with Miss Chrissy Love and Top Guy JJ, talking about the Wednesday Night Wars, talking about Andrade's release, and so much more. So check that out. That's going to be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow, Saturday, as we always have our weekly drops on Saturday. So check that out. Check out Jeremy. So for Jeremy, for the usual host of Smack Talk, Rick Ucchino, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and follow along on Sportskeeda Wrestling on all social media platforms, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. So until next week, this has been Smack Talk, and we are out of here.